Yes, because I think we have to go back to the previous system. But if I may, I think we should try to imagine a different concept of resilience, a concept much more similar to what has been launched during the last ICAO COVID conference in October 2021, where someone started to talk about, how can I say, transformative resilience. So not simply going back to the previous situation before the shock, but going back with, let's say, the so-called lesson learned in order to try to improve our system, not only to going back to the previous situation before the COVID, of course, and taking advantage of everything we learned about this very, very bad situation, trying to be more resilient, even in terms of a reconciliation between air transport in general terms, of course, and environment. I think is the only way we can really implement the real concept of resilience in aviation. I think, as I told you before, to reconcile environment with the transport. You know, today we are, between brackets, as a transport system, more or less under attack. Even if the aviation system contributes only for less than 3% in the total emissions in the world of CO2, of course we have to take initiative and measures. And the first aspect should be to try to rebuild the confidence in the system, to try to let's say, re-attract passengers and interest in our system. And of course we can do it starting from one of the main aspects which is necessary in our system, air navigation service providers. Without them, it's quite difficult to imagine any transportation there. Yes, and so if we will be in a position to try to really read the concept of resilience, as I told before, I think we can imagine to manage any other future shock we could have in air transport. Difficult to predict, of course, because no one in 2019 could imagine what's happening in 2020, of course, but nowadays we have something learned, and we can use it in order to try to afford a little bit better possible future crisis. I think so. I think the possibility to exchange experiences and talk is the only way to try to look, let's say, in a better way to the future. We live, especially in a transport system, in a very integrated system. It's not a slogan to say that aviation is a real small village. I come from Italy, from a country where the simple domestic dimension of a transport in all sense. As transport is integrated necessarily in a wider system. And of course, having the possibility to share not only at regional level, but even worldwide, our own experiences is the only way to try to see in a confident way to the future. And of course, events like this one could not be substitutable in this sense.